this is the screen you will get after you log into Charm AHR. You need to go to billing. It takes you to generate bills section, and under the generate bills, you can have all the visits, all the encounters that has been completed and signed listed there. You can send this chart to RCM for insurance processing, either individually by clicking these three dots against each and every encounter and select submit to RCM, or you can select multiple charts and then send it to RCM by clicking the submit to RCM button at the top.
Okay, I have a question. If we have patients that they pay in cash.
Yeah, so for cash-based visit or cash-based patients, what you can do is you can create an invoice from an encounter and post the payment. So once the encounter is completed, you can create a new invoice by clicking the new invoice button.
Okay.
It will take you to the invoice section where you can collect the payment from patient and then approve it.
Oh, okay.
There is no need for you to submit to RCM for such visits.
Can you repeat, please?
Yeah, I'll do that. Give me a minute. I'm just canceling this. It's a draft invoice for that visit. I'm deleting it just to make sure that you understand the whole flow. Say, when you have a visit, a cash-based visit, which doesn't need any insurance processing, right?
Yes.
For such visit, what you need to do is you need to create an invoice for that visit. You can do that by clicking this three dot icon and select new invoice. Okay?
Yes.
So this will create a new invoice for that visit, and you will know what are all the procedures done, and if you want to add any more procedures, you can add it. You can collect the payment from the patient. Say you have collected the payment from the patient and $360. You can approve the invoice. Now, if you look at that visit, it is a paid. It will be in the paid status, right? There is no need for you to process this to insurance. If you, there is one more option available. Say you can mark that particular encounter as RCM not required as well.
Okay.
So if you do that, this will move away from this queue. I'll show you.
Okay.
Now, if you mark it as RCM not required, then those encounters will not be visible here because we have filtered only the encounters not submitted to RCM. If you want to look at the encounters that you have marked as RCM not required, you can do it from here. It will be available here. So, in case by mistake you have marked a particular encounter as RCM not required, you can again revert it from here. Make it as RCM required. It will come to here.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah, so you can generate an invoice and then you can post the payment and close it, right? Say in case you want to apply the copay collected from the patient and then submit an invoice to RCM. That is also possible.
Okay.
I'll explain that. You need to create a new invoice for the visit and apply the copay here.
Okay.
Add the reference number and the payment as cash or card, then apply the payment there. See, this payment is already collected. What I mean is you have received the payment from the patient as cash. You are adding in the copay. Okay.
Now, you guys can collect from the previous trainings that I showed. You guys can collect copay from the calendar screen as well. So if you remember, you had all those appointments, and you had pay right next to the appointment. That's where you can collect that copay. And then Paramil will probably also show you the eligibility check that you can also perform that I showed from when you check in the patient. So the patient comes in, you have the pay copay button, and you have the eligibility check button. You can do that prior to from you invoicing that patient. Thanks, Paramil, for showing this area of Charm EHR. I did not show this part yet.
You're welcome, James. So you can add the copay, and then I'm just canceling this because I don't want this data to be there. So you can submit an invoice to RCM. See, earlier I shown you how to submit a chart to RCM. In certain cases, you want to collect the copay, post the copay, then send an invoice to RCM. That is possible by this way. You can see an option called submit to RCM against the invoice that are not submitted to RCM. As like generate bill section, you can submit multiple invoices as well to RCM by selecting this submit to RCM button.
And so what he's explaining, Paramil in this case, is that you guys went into the invoice section and you marked that you collected the copay from the patient in the invoice section as opposed to doing it from the calendar section. So he went into generate bills, he invoiced the patient and put in the copay that was collected. It took you directly to invoices once you approve that invoice. And now what Paramil's showing you is he's selecting the invoices that still need to be, in this case, sent to our RCM team. Okay?
Yes.
Okay. And so you have two options. So either the patient comes in, you check them in, you had already done an insurance eligibility check, and you collected their copay from when they checked in. And if that's the case, when the encounter is done with that patient, when you go to check out that patient, you can submit to RCM from the generate bills section. And the latter of what Paramil's explaining, he's saying, okay, the patient came in, you checked them in, you didn't collect any copay from that check-in, you're actually going to collect their copay after the encounter that was done with that patient. So he invoiced the patient for the service that was provided by adding the copay that you have now collected. And then he went into invoices and then selected multiple invoices to submit to RCM. Do you guys follow me pretty well?
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead with your question.
Okay. Great. So you can also check the invoices that are submitted to RCM by a small icon that is displayed below the invoice date. Okay. You see a small RCM icon below the invoice date. So those are all the invoices that are submitted to RCM. And the other cash pay invoices will not have that RCM icon. And there are few filters available. You can go here and select is submitted to RCM. Select submitted to RCM. This is going to bring up all the invoices that are submitted to RCM. So this will help you in tracking the invoices that are submitted to RCM, whether it is paid or not, all these things. So once, as we shown you in the overview, once we receive the chart or invoice to RCM, we will do all the activities. We'll scrub the claim, we'll generate the claim, we'll submit to the payer. Once we receive the explanation of benefit, we will post the payment. The payment posted by the RCM team will get reflected in the invoice. Let's take this invoice as an example. So this has a insurance check payment of $40 and a patient copay of $10. So when we post a payment from RCM, you can see it from the invoice. It will reflect like this. If you look at the invoice, it will say what is the insurance payment received, and if there is any adjustment, It will also be shown there, and the patient responsibility will be shown here. So if this $10 is collected at the time of appointment booking, then the due will be 0.
Exactly, because you guys have already collected their copay from when that patient had checked in. So it would be 0 in this case.
So any questions here? So this is how you can see the payments getting transferred from the RCM, from the explanation of benefit to, okay.
And our RCM team primarily will do most of the heavy lifting. You guys will just decide on the workflow as far as how you want to check in that patient and collect the copay. Once you decide, so if you want to do that right when they walk into the door, or you want to do that after the encounter that they had with Dr. Safian, up to you guys. He's just showing 2 parts. And then once you submit to RCM, we do all the heavy lifting as far as generating the claim, scrubbing the claim, and then posting what was paid on that claim for you. And the last part he showed was, okay, so once the claim gets posted, this is what it looks like when it gets posted, and this is how you can search, how you can find all your RCM payments that have come through. Like which ones have you submitted to RCM and such. All right, I'm going to put myself on mute. I'm talking a little bit too much.
Yeah, that helps a lot, James. You're putting things into perspective. Yeah.
So, restorative health.
This is how.
Go ahead, Pramod. Sorry about that.
Okay, so this is how you can track the payment posted by RCM team, and if you want to look at the status of the claim that are still not paid, if you look at this particular invoice, say it says it is unpaid, and you want to know what is the status of the claim, you can select claim due for that invoice. So this will bring up the details of the claim. So it will say who is the payer is and when it is submitted and the claim status. So it says it is submitted electronically. That means the claim has been submitted electronically and we are not received the explanation of benefit. So this is a demo account, so dates will be a little skewed. Typically, it takes 3 to 4 weeks for the payer to process the claim and send us the explanation of benefit. Once we have the explanation of benefit, we'll post the payment.